Well, good morning, everyone. It is Wednesday, March 5th, 2025, and we have got a lot to talk about with President Trump's speech yesterday. Lots to discuss. Let's see here. Wait for some people to pile in. All righty, let's see here. Wait for some people to pile in. All righty. All right, there we go. Okay. Let's see here. We have Share Baby is here, one of our subscribers. Welcome, Share Baby. Oh, we got Dave here. Hold on, Dave. There we go. All right, we got Dave loading up. Hey, Dave.
Good morning.
How are you, sir?
Absolutely perfect. Yourself?
Doing very, very well. Got a workout in this morning, and I'm ready to rock.
There you go. Let's do it.
So let's get some house cleaning going here. We have Subtle Chaos 17 is with us. Welcome, Subtle. DP Rather from Louisiana. Welcome, DP Rather. Oh, hold on. I think my camera's a little off. There we go. All right. There we go. All righty. We have Sheila Deans here. Hey, Sheila. Cynthia Hanner's here. Share Baby 29, one of our subscribers, is here. Welcome. So if you are on TikTok, double tap that screen, share this live out. And if you can contribute to our Tiny Diny daily goal, that would be wonderful. If you're on X, YouTube, or Rumble, send us a message in the chat. Give us the thumbs up or the positive affirmation button. It would be appreciated. So, Dave, wow. Yesterday, exposure upon exposure. I made some comments.
Lots more coming.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. What I found really interesting is the petulance of the Democrats. Now, I personally think it was orchestrated. I think it was meant to look that way. You cannot convince me that the Democrats for decades have been so incredibly intelligent that they can sneak people in like a Obama, who was nowhere, becomes a senator, and then gets 2 terms. And now all of a sudden they've fallen apart and don't know how to deal with the public or with it. I don't buy it for a second. What do you think?
Right. No, there's 20% of the people that are always going to stick with the Democrats in that sense. But they looked absolutely horrible for not standing up for at least tax cuts, and the 13-year-old that had brain cancer, and the kid that got into the Air Force or whatever the academy was, and they didn't stand up.
No, I mean, that's just mind blowing. And then what really cracked me up was their little paddles. You know what I mean? It's like, what are you at a freaking auction? What's that all about? Right?
Yeah, no kidding. That's what they were saying. Yeah.
God.
Saying whoever came up with that should be let go.
Immediately.
Yep, exactly.
Unless, of course, there's another motive. And that's where I land. I think that we have so much going on behind the scenes. I think that the Patriots are in full control. I think as we follow the other board, there's so many things that have lined up, especially with that one person getting kicked out. And you look at the drop from that person, fly, Al, fly. That seems pretty obvious to me.
Yeah. Yep.
So let's do some house cleaning here.
It's gonna be fun. It's gonna be fun.
Oh yeah. So we've got Tammy C54 sent a heart me. Thank you, Tammy. Excuse me, and a whole bunch of Tiny Dinies. Thank you. Oh, Real Alex is here. Hold on. Let me see if I can find him here. Hold on, Alex. I'm coming. Hold on. Let's see here. My apologies, everybody. I'm got this new setup. Let's see. There we go. Okay. Let's see if we get Alex in here. Well, good morning.
Just hanging out down here in the peanut gallery.
I didn't see. So the way this is all set up now, I have one device looking at another device, streaming on one platform, on TikTok on another, and then I have TikTok on my laptop, and it's just a jumble. Like I've said many times, the only thing that's missing in this setup is duct tape. That's it.
I got a couple rolls I'll send you.
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
So do I. I hate to give them up, but I will for you, Sam.
Thank you. All right, so let's get some house cleaning. We got Share Baby 29's here. Tammy Passabont is here, both of which sent gifts. Thank you so much. We have, the real Alex is here. There we go. Share Baby 29 said the peanut gallery rocks. That's exactly right. Alex does rock. So, we have Brad W. over on YouTube saying the Dems are the smartest stupid people. Yes. Hey, Benny Kim is here on Facebook. Hey, Benny. So, Alex, we were talking about what I would call the petulant display from the Democrats.
Oh yeah, I was listening in. Swine and Roses, man. The young man that got into West Point, the young man that's had 13 brain operations. Like, where's your humanity at?
Right.
I don't care if you agree or disagree with the man that's making the message or whatever the case may be, but it shows your true colors when you can't get off your ass for a couple of kids that are doing well.
Exactly. Absolutely.
Disgusting.
Absolutely, I agree. I couldn't agree more. And then I found it interesting that he leads off close to the beginning with the Golden Age, and then goes into the Panama Canal, and then talks about Greenland. I mean, those are some pretty big statements, especially on a stage like that. What do you guys think?
I think that he has called them to task. He has put on full display for the world to see what the reality is. The war machine doesn't want to stop. These people are only worried about themselves and their own pocketbooks. It's on full display for the entire world to see. And you'd have to be a blind and deaf Helen Keller to not understand exactly what was put on display last night.
Exactly.
As much as all of us wanted more last night, I couldn't ask for a better speech below. Just a step down of where that speech was at. You couldn't ask for anything better. We're ready to have that Band-Aid rip off, and let's rock and roll. Let's do this. Let's move forward. But it's slow steps for sure, and we'll get there.
Not gonna lie, my eyes were watering a couple times.
Yeah, exactly. Well, I had a discussion with a friend of mine who is a full MAGA Trump supporter. I won't say his name, but he's starting to wake up to the point. I said, when in the history of the Democratic Party have they made such huge missteps in the past? They haven't. They've always been very under the radar, bringing the temperature up slowly, and then all of a sudden, in the last couple of years, it's a free-for-all, and they can't seem to get their story straight. It's my opinion that there is much more going on behind the scenes. As we all know from that other board that we follow, they are under submission, or they have been given a choice, political suicide, or the truth comes out. I mean, that's really the only thing that makes sense to me at this point. What do you guys think?
100% agree.
Yeah.
Yep. Absolutely.
Well, let's do some house cleaning here. We've got Paco saying we've got lots of duct tape. Thanks, Paco. Gen X Holtz is here. Share Baby 29, one of our subscribers, said, Dems put the final nail in their coffin. Not sure how anyone could support them after that. And I think that was the point of it, Share Baby. I think the point was to expose the nefarious attitudes and position that the Democrats, and I'm not just going to say the Democrats, I'm talking about also the rhinos, the Republicans in name only, who, sure, they're Republicans, at least that's what they call themselves, but you got to watch their actions. If their actions don't line up with what they're saying, they're full of crap as far as I'm concerned. We have Mark over on YouTube. We have Jay Vargas over on YouTube. Welcome, everybody. Glad you could make it. Hey, if you're on TikTok, double tap that screen, share this live out. If you are able to contribute to our tiny daily goal, that would be wonderful. And keep in mind, we do have subscriptions available on TikTok now. So some of the other things that he talked about last night, what I thought was important is he highlighted the misuse of the USAID funds. And he highlighted it in such a way that some of the most how would I put it? Some of the most egregious spending of money going to crazy types of investments, for lack of a better term, in foreign powers and in foreign countries. Our tax money, I think personally that was classic and a chess move par excellence. What do you guys think?
I think he put on for the world to see an undeniable display of ignorance and narcissism and greed, and it just, I mean, it was brilliant. It was brilliant.
Right, exactly. Hey,
well, when the speech itself is a 75% approval rating, you know he did something right with all Americans.
Exactly, and that was on a CBS poll, right? I mean, how much more blatant does it have to be?
Right. Yeah.
So we have 80 Deuce Cab is here. Welcome, 80 Deuce. Janice 780. Our President Trump is absolutely amazing. He had me crying for those children. You know, I think a lot of us did. A lot of us got weepy over that. Wendy's here. Sent a heart me. Paul Walnut said they need a Democrat to take accountability. Well, I don't know if that's going to happen, but they're going to be forced into it, in my opinion. Hannah sent some tiny diny, a whole bunch of tiny dinies. Thank you, Hannah. Butterman sent a heart me. Laura Jean sent roses. Hal Groshan sent a bunch of tiny dinies. Thanks so much, you guys. I agree. I thank you. Rich said, I absolutely agree. They're under submission. Yeah, I don't think there's another logical explanation other than they're under submission or they've been given a choice. Do this or else this is going to happen. But again, with the highlight of the USAID money, the highlights, how about the Social Security numbers? For all the normies out there that were watching yesterday, to say that we have one person who's 360 years old or whatever, and the camera cuts to Nancy Pelosi, that was classic. I loved it. It couldn't have been any better.
I wish Trump would have said, "Is that you, Nancy?"
Yeah, that would have been classic.
It was on full display. I again, like, he hit the points. He brought up the information. He pointed you to what you needed to see, and again, approval of the speech, like Dave said, it speaks for itself.
Right. So let's switch gears here and move over to a recap of the Daily Dispatch. So Darrell Issa, a Republican from California, said he's going to nominate President Trump for the Nobel Peace Prize. You think that's going to fly, you guys?
I said this last night. Obama got it.
Yeah, and why?
I mean, what?
And I think in the first 3 weeks.
Does that not completely take away any sort of legitimacy to the award at all? I mean, okay, yeah, sure, give it to him. I mean, at this point, the organization is bought and paid for. I mean, anyway, I digress. Go ahead.
Right. No, I agree with you.
If he shuts down the war, how could they not?
Right. Then. Well, look at what happened back when he did the Abraham Accords. He should have gotten it for that back then.
Absolutely.
Right?
Yep.
How about Maxine Waters? Did you guys see the clip of her? Guys, sorry, I don't know why when I put it on Do Not Disturb, it still does do not. I mean, it still disturbs. He sets her in front of a video of Trump's accomplishments in the waiting room. How humiliating must that have been?
And probably made her watch the entire thing.
Right, exactly. You know, she is a despicable person, just despicable. I think her look represents her heart. She looks like I think she probably is in terms of being, a decent human being, which I don't believe she is. What do you guys think?
Yeah, she looks miserable.
Miserable.
Sure.
Yes, that's a good way to put it. So we had here in California, the belly of the beast. We had the California government increase the water flow by 27% in February. Remember when Trump came out here and he essentially laid down the gauntlet with Newsom and he said, number one, turn on the water and you get all the federal funds you need. And number two, voter ID. Do you think that we are going to see, bless you, Alex, do you think we are going to see voter ID in California? Or I should say, when do you think we'll see it?
Let's hope sooner than later.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly.
Sam, if you get it, you'd be surprised how soon the polls turn around out there. I bet you.
Well, I have said for years now, California is much more red than people realize. I remember back in the 2020 election, I was living in Beverly Hills at the time. You guys, there were groups of us that got together on corners in Beverly Hills, hundreds of people with Trump signs and horn. You wouldn't expect that from California, but I'm telling you, it is more red here than people realize.
Yep.
So Rich sent some roses. Sissy sent some roses. Rich sent some more roses. Hannah C sent a heart me. Our Jeff Code. Hey, our Jeff Code's here. One of our subscribers sent a heart me. We have, oh my gosh, there are so many people in here. My apologies, guys. We have got a lot going on. If you want to check the chat for questions, you want to bring it up, that would be great. So let's see, what else do we have here? We have, here's a good one, another California story. Gavin Newsom signed an executive order requiring, quote, in-person work of state employees. Do you think that there's more pressure going on from the Trump administration that people are letting on? What's your theory on that, Alex?
Look, the buck stops here, and it rolls downhill, folks. I mean, this is exactly what this country needs. This is whether the Texas Democrat wants to stand up and say that there was no mandate. Not true. There was absolutely a mandate by the American people. Going back to we talked about Lisa's group. There is a concerted effort for people to get involved at the local level. Find out what's going on in your city halls, your counties, and county commissioners. What is their budget? Where's the money going? Who's friends of whose family that got the contract to redo the parking lot at the shopping? Like, this is the mandate. We've got to have transparency, and I think that it starts at the top, and him withholding federal funds is going to get people moving pretty quickly at the state level. And it's up to us as the constituents to vote, to understand what the people we're voting for are behind, and what's behind them. So
right.
What a time to be alive, sir.
Amen. Dave, what are your thoughts on that?
You start cutting off their funding and their money, you'd be surprised what you can get done.
Isn't that the truth?
And that's exactly, what do they say? Cut the head off of the snake,
Yeah, exactly.
That's the key.
And I personally believe, based on the other board that we follow, that a lot of that has already taken place, and that what we're seeing is a slow rollout optically. Because again, I think people don't wake up at the same time. You have normies that are not awake, and even within that, there's different gradients of being awake. And then you have MAGA normies who are full Trump supporters, America first, but don't really understand all the nuances going on behind the scenes. And then you have the MAGA supporter that are awake. And then even a deeper level than that is people like us, the Anons, people that have been following this for years. And the amount of exposure that we're seeing, I didn't think would happen this quick. I mean, my God, he's not even been in office, 40 days? I don't even know what the count is today.
Quite frankly, I'm not tired of winning. There's more winning America. We're just getting started, quite frankly.
I'm so glad President Trump made an appearance on our podcast. Jan 1959 said New Jersey is much more red than people believe. I agree. Agent Maddie said, yes, we are. Lisa Maria's here. Hey, Lisa, glad you could make it. We have, we've got some trolls in there. Susie Kabluzzi's here, one of our subscribers. Hi, Susie. Hope you're doing well this morning. Jeff Jordan said, sadly, most New Yorkers are so stupid that to not get away from the Democratic Party. Well, I personally think the exposure level is so high and is going to rise so significantly that people are not going to be able to turn their heads. They're not going to be able to put their head in the sand anymore. I think that we're seeing that on a slow roll basis. What do you guys think?
I 100% agree. The ostrich can bury his head in the sand, but when the mower comes, you're either going to get chewed up and spit out, or you're going to pull your head out and get to running.
Exactly. We have Cums 8HU or KUMS 8HU83 said, your positive influence on those around you is undeniable. Well, here's the reason I'm so positive. I've been in this fight since the late 80s. And to see the amount of people waking up in the last several years versus the last several decades, I can't help but be excited. You know, we are seeing, I didn't think it would happen in my lifetime, let alone now, less than 40 days into President Trump's second term, possibly third term. But we are seeing people wake up in such huge numbers that I can't help but be excited about it. Now, somebody who's only been awake for a couple of years, you know, they may not be able to grasp that depth of what's been going on, what's been transpiring. But you guys have been in this fight a long time, too. So you understand what I'm saying. What's your thoughts on it?
Dave, go ahead.
4 or 5 years for me, Sam. So, you know, I was initially a Ben Carson fan, and then he flipped over to Trump. So I started getting involved in Trump and seeing what's going on. And then, you know, 2019, 2020, everything clicked and the light came on. You know, that's what it takes. It takes one thing here, one thing there to bring it out, bring the people into the light and start using this. Right. Instead of sitting in front of a TV and getting taught of what you should know or what's going on in the world. Exactly. If something doesn't make sense, look into it. Exactly.
Alex?
And yesterday was a prime example of exactly what Dave is saying. Look at just the overwhelming number of posts that were calling out the scripted side-by-side video of all the politicians repeating the same exact narrative over and over and over. If you repeat a lie loud enough and often enough, people will start to believe it. And so now with technology and with the speed that we can bring this to the people, you're not going to see that on mainstream media. It is alternative news. It is Sam Shalahoub's. It is Alex's and Dave's and those of us that are out there. You want the red pill or do you want the blue pill? And the positive influence that Sam's talking about, you know, we think about, if you've seen the movie Matrix, when Neo first gets pulled out of the Matrix, he's sick. He's throwing up. He's confused and doesn't understand that, holy shit, this is the reality of things. And that's where the compassion from us comes in, that we've got to stand up beside our fellow people as they start to understand this matrix of lies that has been built around them, deception, confusion. Look here when this is happening over there. And the money's going over here under these really elaborate titles that make you think and feel like, oh, I'm doing something good for the people, and find out, yeah, you're just lining politicians' pockets. Like, that's a hard pill for people to swallow. And so we've got to step up and stand beside them. And it's not an I told you so. That's not in my repertoire. That's not coming out. There's not an I told you so. No. Ask questions. Oh, you heard about that, did you? Would you like to know more about it?
Well, and I think, Alex, that analogy,
Exactly.
I think that analogy used on the Matrix is you don't want people to choke on the red pill. And I think that is a very apropos analogy to use, because if you give them too big a pill, too much at one time, they're going to choke. And I don't think the Patriots or us or anybody on the screen would like to see that happen. We want people to wake up, and they have to wake up at their own timing. in my opinion.
Sassy says it exactly right. Some good people on the left controlled by altruism and race. And there are good people on all sides, and there's bad people on all sides.
Yes.
The three of us are brutally aware of that. Most of your audience is brutally aware of that. There's always a snake in the grass. It doesn't matter what lawn you're standing on.
Right.
You know?
I agree.
So, but we can't label the entire said group by the action. You know, one bad apple spoils the whole bushel. We just got to be patient, and we got to be kind.
Right.
With love.
Right. Keeps Digging 7 on YouTube said it's going to take as long as it takes for people. It's going to continue as long as it needs for people to wake up. And I think that's true. I think that if they can do the kind of polling they do on politics, I guarantee you that the people pulling the strings behind the scenes have got polling and country consciousness down to science. They know exactly where people are at. And I think that's why this slow roll is taking place. So we have our Jeffco just sent a tiny. Choose your poisons here. Hey, choose your poison. Just sent a heart me. We have ShareBaby29, who's a subscriber, said, but they're fighting us so much and being so rude when we try to help that it's hard not to walk. Well, ShareBaby, the way I look at it is I used to try to give people a drink of water from a fire hose. And I learned the hard way by using the Socratic method, which is asking questions. It makes people think. So instead of just giving them information, ask them questions. You know, do you think it's strange that we're supporting condoms in Afghanistan or voting polls in Uzbekistan with millions or billions of dollars? And that starts the conversation. And I think that's the direction that we're going. Hey, Crystal's here. Crystal Zacy, one of our subscribers who I had a conversation with yesterday. I'm glad you could make it, Crystal.
User 583704 blah 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 blah. If you keep spamming the chat, we're gonna ask you to leave politely.
There you go.
Let's engage in some intelligent conversation. No need to spam.
Crystal said, "Hey, thanks for my hangover, Mega Dave." Exactly.
She said she was out drinking me.
Yeah, exactly. That's classic. I love it. As I just lost my train of thought. My apologies, gentlemen.
We're going through the Daily Dispatch topics.
Yeah. Okay. Here we go. So I'm sorry. I'm 62 years old. I stayed up way past my bedtime last night, and I was so jacked from the live that I couldn't fall asleep. And then, get up at 4:35 in the morning, and I'm like, oh, what's going on here? So I'm a little slow on the draw today. Bear with me. Watcher Guru over on X said the Mexican billionaire Ricardo Salinas, with a net worth of $5.8 billion, has allocated 70% of his portfolio to Bitcoin. Now, Alex, you're much more the expert than I, but isn't that a significant move?
That's somebody who has done a good job managing their money over the years, understanding where a potential store of wealth might exist for the upcoming economic issues that we're going to face.
Right. Oh, and everybody, if you're interested in learning how to buy or hold Bitcoin, go to samshalhoub.com. You can book an appointment directly with me, and I'll walk you through the process. So yesterday it came out that the government is considering selling a whole bunch of properties in 47 states, District of Columbia, and so forth. Well, as we all know, Richard Citizen journalist and what's the other gal's name? That's the boots on the ground. Nancy Drew.
Kelly.
Nancy Drew.
Nancy Drew.
Yeah.
Yep.
So she's been saying for years, and she's actually taking film, as we all know, but she's been filming Washington, D.C. for years. And all of those buildings have been vacant, or for the most part vacant, for years. And yesterday, when they announced this sprawling portfolio of properties that's being sold, some of the ones that were mentioned were the FBI building in Washington, D.C., the CIA building, the Federal Reserve. I mean, that's a significant move. And I think as we move forward with this exposure operation, having people like Nancy Drew on the ground and exposing it, I think is really important. What do you guys think?
I agree. The the waste, the fraud, the abuse, transparency is the only way for us to identify these things.
Right, right. And
we have dissenting comments in the chat. Charles believes that this is going to wreck the economy, that we're going to pay $3,000 more for an automobile, and that we need to pay attention to what the economists are saying. I would challenge you to say, which economists are you listening to? Who backs those economists? Are they truly independent, or is this just a report that's been mimicked across 30 different politicians to put out? Let's use some discernment. When you say that a car is going to go up $3,000, I don't believe that's the case. If they move their factories to the United States and allow United States workers to build their products, you're going to see the exact opposite happen. And Trump said it last night in his speech that there's going to be a little bit of pain. We're all going to have a little bit of pain. But that little bit of pain is going to be a whole lot easier to swallow than the last 20 years of pain that we've watched the dollar lose more than half of its value.
We'll see. And I think that's the flip side of that equation. People ask me all the time, Sam, am I going to lose my money in the bank? Sam, well, here's the thing. Right now, if the dollar purchasing power is 3 cents, which it is it important to have zeros in your bank account, or is it important to see how much purchasing power the dollar has? So let's say cars do go up, but all of a sudden the dollar buys 50% more than it did before. Are you losing money? No, you're not. The dollar's worth going up. And if it's the dollar, whether it's the current dollar, whether it's the new dollar that's rolling out, the reality is how much can you buy with that dollar? And I think to your point, Alex, that's exactly what we have to look at. The purchasing power of the dollar versus the actual pricing of the items. I think they're both interconnected.
Absolutely. And again, dissenting comments with Charles. Charles, I would ask you, so you're saying it takes 5 years to build an automobile production plant. Well, in Kansas City, there's an old Pontiac plant sitting that could be repurposed. You don't have to build a new one. And I think that once you cut the regulations and the red tape and the bullshit that's in the way of being able to build things, you'll find that it'll take a hell of a lot less time to get those plants up and running and operational. As far as you're saying, inflation is going to go up 4%. I would ask you, sir, over the course of the last 4 years, how much has inflation gone up under previous administration and regulations?
Exactly. And I think that's, you hit the nail on the head when we're talking about the Chevron deference and all the bureaucrats that have been in place to impede economic growth in America. As that's moving away, as that's being done away with, there's not going to be any red tape. You're going to have money pouring, and we're already seeing it pouring into the United States. President Trump, I think he said we're at $1.5 trillion in foreign investment already, not to mention the new gold card at $5 million a pop with 250,000 people already applying for it. That's $1 trillion right there. You know, and I think the misnomer, Alex, that you've talked about many times is lowering the tax rate for the billionaires is a wise choice. They are the ones that produce factories. They're the ones that produce jobs for the American people. And as we saw in Trump's first term, that's what happened. And I think we're seeing a replay of that, but on steroids this time. So Janet just sent a whole bunch of gifts. Thank you, Janet. It's truly appreciated.
Morning, Janet.
So that being said, I don't worry. I think the major issue is the central banking system, and I think that's being dealt with. I think the Federal Reserve is all but done at this point. I think that it was rolled into the Treasury quite some time ago, and this is a slow roll out. And if you guys caught over the weekend, they passed the new budget in the House, $2 trillion reduction in the budget, and $4.5 trillion in tax reductions, and no tax on tips, no tax on Social Security, no tax on overtime. Three of the things that President Trump specifically pointed out: promises made and promises kept. Alex?
100%. 100%. And it all begins with transparency. our dissenting voice said that Trump doesn't come with receipts. Doge, DOGE .gov. You want receipts, if you want to see numbers, if you want to see savings, if you want to see the number of regulations versus the number of laws. And when I'm talking about red tape, I'm talking about permits and building and land, and I'm not talking about safety regulations. Of course we need our cars to be safe, and we need the plants that people are building them in to be safe. Nobody's debating that.
Of course. And a perfect example.
Elon said he came out of, did we talk about this the other day? Elon said he left California and built his plant in Texas and a little over a year and a half, a year and 8 months. And in California, he wouldn't even had his permits to build yet in a 2-year time.
Right.
And he did it in 1.8 years in Texas.
And look, an example, folks. He talks about how we have more liquid gold under this country than any other nation. And if you want to really dig in and understand what it means to be an oil-rich nation, go look at some of the oil-rich nations where they have, $3 million cars that are just dumped in the desert because it got a flat tire. They don't care. They go buy another one. Look at Abu Dhabi. Look at the UAE. Go look at these places where they have these sovereign wealth funds. They don't have homeless. There's good and bad to everything, guys, but we get this engine roaring and get the tariffs going, get the economy back on track, become a powerhouse in the industries that he's trying to bring over here with the chip manufacturers, with AI, with our space programs and the independent companies that are building space programs. Nobody saw it in the news. There's been a probe landed on the moon. Anybody notice that? Seen that? Heard about that? The value of the dollar has got to come back. It's lost 97% of its purchasing power. Things are not more expensive. The dollar just doesn't go as far as it used to.
Exactly right. Crypto Dad said, how much of our national debt is fraudulent and we shouldn't have to pay that back? I think that's part of what's that?
Trillions.
Yeah, exactly. And again, I think that's what President Trump is leading up to. The abolition of federal income tax, the dissolution of the federal debt. And let's not forget all of the gold that is flying throughout the world right now. How much of it came out of the Vatican? How much gold is actually in Fort Knox, valued at what, $40 an ounce? All of those things are going to play a part of this. And I personally don't know how it's going to happen, but I'm confident that it's going to happen.
Yep.
So, and on that note, the IRS, Associated Press came out yesterday and said that the IRS is planning to lay off as much of half of its 90,000 person workforce. Now, if that's not receipts right there, I don't know what is. How could you lay off half of a workforce and still have that workforce be efficient? You can't, because
ask Elon Musk and what he did with Twitter and X.
Yes, very good example.
80%,
And for,
right, Alex?
yeah, Alex, tell everybody that story.
Well, I mean, he bought out Twitter. He came in, he looked at the number of staff on the books and money going out the door. What was their job? What were they doing? Were they in the office? Was it something that we could eliminate or consolidate into another position? Somebody that might be more talented at doing what they do. Look at Data Republican. This woman is brilliant, folks. Her mind is insane. She's a kernel programmer. That is the core piece of a processing chip's ability to crunch math. I can't stress, like, he brings in the brightest and best, he looks at what's going on and says, you know what? We can get rid of 80% of the workforce. We can be more efficient. We can redesign the platform. We can add new functionality. And guess what? Make it more profitable than it's ever been before. with 20% of the original workforce.
Exactly. Goldilocks 17 is here. Good morning, Goldilocks. Glad you can make it. Yeah, I think you're right, Alex. And another example of that was when Howard Lutnick was being interviewed by Brett Baer. And he gave an example, a specific example, and he said, hey, we got a hat and sombrero. Or I should say a hat and a mustache. When he was talking about government efficiency, he said, we spend $40 billion a year on the census. We hire people, they go out to every home. And he said, wouldn't it make sense to use the U.S. Postal Service that already goes to every home already to broaden their scope of their responsibilities instead of spending $40 billion to create a whole new census campaign? I think that's a perfect example. Just like with what Elon did with Twitter. I mean, I don't know how he broke it down and but the fact is he reduced the workforce significantly, and the platform actually runs better now. Can you imagine applying that same methodology to the government, which is what Doge is doing?
Well, example, I just posted this. So pilot program has been expanded to 16 agencies to audit unused and unneeded credit cards. After 2 weeks, they found 146,000 credit cards they could deactivate. Now, if you take that 146,000 credit cards, move to the side your beliefs about all of this, right? But let's say that credit card is charging you $36 a year. Let's just look at the waste on that. So $36 a year times 146,000, that's a saving of $5 million.
Right. Basic math.
You cannot argue math. You can't argue math.
Yeah, but Alex, I'm going to play the devil's advocate.
Bring it on.
Isn't that going to hurt the economy? Isn't that going to hurt the economy?
I guess that response right there speaks volumes, Dave.
You know that's what I'm just going to say. I'm just prepping you for that side of things.
So estimated savings to date from Doge, okay? $105 billion. The amount saved per taxpayer, as we go through this, per taxpayer amount is calculated using the estimate of 161 million individual federal taxpayers, $652. What would you do with $652, Dave?
Put it in the bank, I suppose, for right now, or invest it, or put it in the economy. Same concept.
That's a truck payment.
Wait a minute, isn't it? That's when you go to Vegas and try to double it, right?
About the craps table. That's a good time.
I agree. Hey, Secret Squirrel's here. Sent a bunch of gifts. Thank you, Secret Squirrel. Faceless American 22 just sent a gift. Thank you so much, Faceless. Seth King is here. Hey, Seth, thank you for the corn. Dave to Thawright 12 just sent a gift. Thank you so much. I'm sorry if I'm butchering these. Our Jeff Coat, one of our subscribers, said, Alex, you're the best. Yes, isn't he? Without Dave and Alex here, boy, this sure would be a boring show, wouldn't it? R. Garcia said that's what most groceries cost now. Yeah, I mean, again, even if you took that $652 and you decided instead of going budget in your grocery store, you decided to spend more money on groceries, it's coming back into the economy, right?
Let's elaborate on that grocery story. I want to know where your grocery store is because that's what we're spending almost weekly.
Yep.
Jeez.
Exactly. Hey, everybody on TikTok, double tap that screen, share this live out if you would. If you can contribute to our tiny daily goal, that would be wonderful. And keep in mind, we do have subscriptions now on TikTok. And if you are on X, YouTube, Rumble, or Facebook, please give us the thumbs up or the positive affirmation button.
Oh, yeehaw. Thanks for the hat. Okay, so here's something that blows my mind. If we're going through the Department of Government Efficiency and we look at the real estate, right? The buildings. We talked about earlier that buildings being empty and those things. You know, in Atlanta, they closed an office Center for Disease Control. It was 119,000 square feet for a savings, an annual lease of $2.4 million. Now, okay, I can see 119,000 square feet. Okay, that makes sense to me, right? But you go down and you look in these places like New York, U.S. Immigration and Custom Enforcement. Okay, 0 square feet, folks. They're leasing 0 square feet, $1.8 million. DHS, United States Secret Service in Wilmington, Delaware, 0 square feet, $249,000 annually. Like these things don't make sense. Austin, Texas, immigration office, 139,000. Like, do you see?
It's so blatant.
It's absolutely insane. I mean, it's insane. DHS Secret Service office in DC, $42,000 for 0 square footage. It's all there. You people can go look for yourselves. I'm not making it up. You cannot argue with the math, though, folks. You
Right.
just can't.
So we have Charla Joe, I think is the Charla Joe. She said she's so glad she found us. But we're glad you found us too. Our Jeff Coat sent more heart me's, or I should say tiny dinies. Callie Lumberjack, thank you for the hat. Francis Dragonfly sent a heart me. Thank you, Francis. Faceless American said, I'm at the border in Yuma next to the big, beautiful wall and living on 2 burritos a day. Yeah, well, I'm telling you, it's going to get better. And it just takes time. And he's been in office less than 40 days, you guys. Good morning, Franny Dragonfly. Nice to see you. Rock Hog is here. Welcome, Rock Hog. Franny Dragonfly just sent a bunch of tiny dinies. Thank you. Hey, everybody, we do have a daily goal of tiny dinies. If you can contribute to it, that would be great. Also, too, share this live out. If you're new to this channel, hit the follow button. I do a daily dispatch 6 days a week, and we do lives pretty much every day now. And it's kind of a follow-up and a current events kind of meeting of the minds. Love to have you be part of it. Rock Hog, thank you for the gifts. Choose Your Poison, thank you for the gifts. Franny Dragonfly, thank you for the gifts. Rich, thank you for the flowers. So I think as we move forward in this exposure operation, which, a perfect example is this poll from CBS yesterday that we talked about already. 76% of the country agrees with President Trump. They approve of him. 76%. Have we ever, I don't remember the last time we saw something like that, other than maybe his first term at some point. Tell me another president. What's that, Dave?
Under Ronald Reagan, maybe.
Yeah, exactly. Ronald Reagan. And that's, what was his term? What was that, 40 years ago? I don't even know how many years ago it was.
Reagan?
Yeah.
Somebody says 20 years ago, and I still think the 80s. But he was president during the 80s, which is actually now 40 plus years ago. Folks.
That's what I thought. Yeah. Yeah, exactly. Let's see here. So let me get some house cleaning done here. Choose Your Poison. Send some more tiny dinies. Thank you so much. Charla Joe said, the first president I voted for. I'm assuming you're talking about President Trump. And people don't know this about me, you guys. I've been in this fight a long time. Did you know that I didn't vote for 30 years?
I'm sorry.
I did not. I
have voted in every election since I turned 18 years old.
Yeah. I didn't see the point. I was black-pilled. I didn't see the point in contributing to a dog and pony show. And I'm not sorry I did it the way I did it, because I think we're at a place now when 2020 gets exposed, when 2022 gets exposed, when those machines that supposedly count valid votes gets exposed, we are going to have some pissed off people. We're going to have some people that are not happy about what has taken place.
So my grandparents, my uncle, my father, my nephew, all of these family members that have been active duty service members. I was really raised in an environment in patriotism to this country. And granted, this country has made some decisions that I absolutely positively do not agree with. We've been in conflicts that I absolutely positively did not agree with. The receipts weren't there, weapons of mass destruction. But, you know, it was said to me by my grandfather, if you don't vote, then you can't bitch.
Right. And what the fight that I took to was, it was more about exposing all of these different things that have been going on, you know, going back to the vaccines back in the late 80s, chemtrails 25 years ago, GMOs being exposed in terms of the toxicity to human beings. I mean, the list goes on, and I never stopped that fight. But I really was blackpilled. I didn't think there was any point in the voting. And of course, now I do, because I think we were moving towards exposure and we're moving towards transparency. And I think it's important. But
one year, I won't say which election it was, instead of voting for a president, I wrote in Jim Carrey. But I still voted, damn it.
Yeah, exactly. Charlotte Joe said I'm 63 years old, and she didn't vote. Or Rockhog said I didn't vote either, Sam. Yeah, it was very easy back then to be blackpilled in the political environment. That means that that doesn't mean that I didn't fight in other ways. But, you know, it's now we're at a place. Dark Horse said that the chemtrails started in the 60s. Oh, yeah, it's been going on for a long time. So hey, 627Y8 is here. Hey, 627Y8. He said, I voted for President Grant, still on Social Security.
We have some.
You're the one.
We have some more dissenting voices in the chat. We are open to conversations and discussions. All I would ask is that you bring receipts. So if you're going to make accusations such as liberals believe in freedom for all people and conservatives believe in lies and authoritarianism, I need some receipts, sir. Please
Right.
give me what you're referring to. I would believe that you quite possibly have fell victim to the repeated message over and over and over by the same set of people that were all fed the same message at the same time.
Exactly. Crystal, one of our subscribers, said, I know which election, Alex, that was, and I wrote in Bugs Bunny. Share baby 29, who's a subscriber, said, when I moved to another state, I did not register till 2020. I know. Well, it was very easy to be blackpilled at that point because there was nothing, there wasn't exposure. Today, it is a completely different story. Franny Dragonfly said that chemtrails are bad here in Las Vegas today. Well, interesting. We had no chemtrails here in California for a number of weeks. And then last week they started again. Now, are they spraying something to counteract the toxic trails? Are they spraying just to keep people's attention on it? I don't know. But I've got to believe that RFK Jr. is going to be taking that into consideration here soon. What do you guys think?
I think that truth is stranger than fiction. If you don't believe, because there are dissenting voices that would believe that the word chemtrails is conspiracy theory, this, that, the other, I would urge you to simply Google China weather manipulation, rain being created in the Sahara Desert with weather manipulation.
Look at Abu Dhabi just, what, a couple months ago? It was flooded. Or Dubai, yeah, Dubai.
Yeah, they said that's why.
And also do some research on HAARP, HAARP. It's high altitude. What does it stand for, Alex? Do you remember off the top of your head? It's high altitude research, or no, aeronautics and research.
I believe stands for HAARP stands for Home Base Advanced Assignment Program. Nope, that's not it.
No, it's not.
That's U.S. Army Garrison, HAARP. Home Base Advanced
it's high altitude something.
Purpose of HAARP.
We've got a lot of debris.
Here it is. It's high frequency active auroral research program.
Well, that's what I get for Googling it, because they don't want you to know.
Yeah, exactly. It's so do some research on the high frequency active auroral research program known as HARP. For those of you that are dissenting in the chat, you'll get your mind blown.
And there are multiple arrays that look just like this. Okay, they are in Alaska. They are on islands off the coast. We're not making this up. There are receipts. Those are antennas designed to agitate the atmosphere. That's not a radio antenna, folks. That's
Right.
not something that's delivering television.
Exactly.
Sam, I need you to go grab that box of tinfoil. We're all going to make hats.
I'm telling you, I should have been wearing one this whole time.
Just for those dissenting voices, in 1993, the U.S. Air Force began construction on a $290 million project that would enable government foremost atmospheric researchers to study the ionosphere, the top layer of the Earth's atmosphere. The research center is now run by the University of Alaska in Fairbanks. It's called High Frequency Active Auroral Research Program, or HAARP, located in Alaska. And again, there are multiple places around the world where these arrays have popped up since 1993.
Laftarina is here, Linda. She said, Google cloud seeding near me. We had a discussion about this the other day. And she's right on target. Go to Google, type in cloud seeding near me, and you'll get a boatload of information on that. Thank you, Linda, for bringing that.
Donna T says Zelensky has changed his mind again and wants the war to continue. And that guy changes his mind like he changes his underwear. And if you really want to know who Zelensky is, go search for some Zelensky dance videos.
Right, exactly. Our Jeff Coat, one of our subscribers, said, and remember, Sam, this is for entertainment purposes only. Yeah, you're right. I should be doing some disqualifiers there just to make sure that nobody gets pissed off on these platforms. Thanks, our Jeff Coat. Crystal said we should line our MAGA hats with tinfoil. So very true. So very true. Let's see here. So we have, I think we've got the Daily Dispatch pretty much taken care of for today. Let's see. Hold on one second. I just got a text from Susie Kabluzzi. She said something. She said, tell Alex. Oh, there. Tell Alex I have mine at work. And this is a picture of Susie wearing a tinfoil hat. It's classic. Oh, I wish I could put that on the screen, Susie. I love it. That's great.
Previous comments. I'm just gonna pull a Tim Holman. If I hurt your feelings, I really don't give a shit.
Yeah, again, if people aren't able to defend their position in a way that's kind and respectful, then they don't need to be here. I don't think we ever attack anyone for a dissenting opinion. Never. It's always about discussion, open forum, free speech. And if people are not able to do that, then this isn't the place for you.
If you want to have a conversation, please bring receipts. I will look at your receipt and I will make sure that the math add up.
Right. Wendy said, wow, look at that. I just Googled cloud seeding near me, and I'm sure she got plenty of responses. Again, Laftarina, Linda, thank you for putting that in the chat. All right, guys. Well, it looks like we're at about an hour. Should we wrap it up for the day?
As soon as we wrap it up, there's going to be 10 more things we're going to have to talk about.
Yeah, exactly. Well, maybe we'll flip back on this afternoon and see how it goes. What do you think?
Let's see how the day goes.
Hey.
I'm looking over articles now, and oh man, that speech was great, but he kicked the hornet's nest. Man, they are coming out in droves.
Oh, really?
Oh,
sure.
I mean,
Surprise,
it's
surprise.
After article after article after article. Wow. Anyway, well, yes. Let's.
We can catch up on some of that this afternoon. Okay, everybody. So if you're on TikTok, you can subscribe to our channel now. We're going to be doing some private lives. You can actually come on screen with us if you're one of our higher level subscribers. We'd love to have you. So let's say final thoughts for today, Dave.
Well, that was an interesting speech last night, but that's just the start. Trump says we're just getting started. So
Right.
hang on to your tinfoil hats and get ready day by day by day. And just because it's the weekend doesn't mean things are going to be slowing down.
Exactly. Alex?
To quote Rumi, when you do things from your soul, you feel a river moving in you, a joy. I think that what we're witnessing across this country is people really starting to open up about how they feel about things, and wanting the transparency. I think the speech last night was a transparent situation that's going to give us all some more receipts. So no, I told you so's. Everybody just be kind and compassionate and reach out to your fellow human across the aisle, across the street, in your own family, because we know this is affecting everybody. And we appreciate you guys coming in, supporting what Sam does. He takes the time to put together the Daily Dispatch, which gives us a 5-6 minute window into what's going on in the world, so that we all don't have to go out and find the receipts ourselves. Supporting him by clicking the buttons and going to the different platforms. That's how Sam is funding this operation. I'm just happy to be a part of it and share. Sam and I've created a friendship. Dave's a local farmer up in Iowa. So if you want to understand how this is affecting the farmers in the world, Dave's your guy to talk to. If it's an IT related question, I'm the guy. If it's a research and news story, Sam's your guy. And we very much appreciate you all. Thank you.
And that reminds me, Alex, because of what we're going through right now in terms of all of these different components and all the machinations behind the scenes, you and I have discussed this many times before, but meditation is very helpful during these times in our lives. And you have written a book on that. Would you please tell everybody about that?
I sat down and I put down my life experience. It's not a long read. It's called it's a beginner's guide. The name of the book is The Easy Road to a Peaceful Mind. Step by step teaches you a meditation practice that worked for me. My struggle was every meditation that I looked into and the books and the videos and the watching and this is, you have to still your mind. My meditation method doesn't tell you that you have to still your mind or quiet your mind. If you walk through the processes and you guide your thoughts with a specific purpose in mind, eventually it just naturally happens that mind starts to get quiet. You can find it by simply doing a Google search. Last time we did this, I got a bunch of trolls doing negative reviews on the book. Whatever, I don't care. It's The Easy Road to a Peaceful Mind. And you can buy it on Amazon. There's a Kindle version and there's a paperback version. It's not a big, long diatribe. It's actually a very small, to the point. This is what you do. This is how you do it. And if you have more questions about it, please reach out.
Great. Now let me answer a few questions here we got on Facebook. Stacy said, Iowa has the best farmers. And she also said MAGA. I agree. Thank you, Stacy. Artemis
Kansas has some pretty great farmers too, damn it.
Yeah, exactly. Artemis X728 said, thanks for all your hard work. Thanks, Artemis. It's appreciated. And then I had a lot of questions about whether I'm on Rumble. So to give you a quick rundown, on TikTok, my only legitimate account is Sam_Shalhoub. There are dozens of fake accounts. On Rumble, it's Sam Shalhoub. On Facebook, it's Sam Shalhoub. On X, it's Shalhoub Sam. So that's the only different one. But come and follow me over there. We're doing all kinds of new things with subscribers. Would love to have you all be part of it. And most of all, everybody, thanks for taking the time to spend an hour with us during the week, going over the highlights. And, we appreciate you just as much as you appreciate us, because without you, there would be no us in terms of what we're trying to do here. And I, for one, am very grateful for that. Dave, thank you. Alex, thank you. Everybody online, thank you. And we will see you and talk to you again soon. Have a great day, everybody.
Thank you, guys. Appreciate it.
Appreciate it.